All right there, and welcome to Shortcuts. So basically what we're doing with these type of videos, as opposed to my regular movie club videos, it's a short little video that I make kind of highlighting something. So if you don't want to go all in on like a 2-hour video or an hour and a half video, something like that, maybe this is more your speed. Anyway, there's a reason I did this one today. There is a channel called Vinnys Video Vaults, which I think is highly not seen enough by a lot of people. It's definitely, if you dropped into my channel at all at any point and you kind of enjoy it, it's definitely a channel that you should be checking out. So just recently, Vinny did his Twilight Time collection, which is huge, and mine is tiny. I've got a tiny Twilight Time collection, which makes this pretty easy for a shortcut video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post this video up here, and hopefully what I'll also do is I will put Vinny's channel link down in the comment box, the description box thing down below. So without further ado, let's get started. So I got a few Twilight Time releases, like 10 in all, not a large collection, so it's not going to take a long time to go over these. Start out with the kind of an odd, weird but really fun one. A lot of people don't talk about this movie, and I'm not quite sure why. It's got a great cast, and it's a fun little movie. It's not like anything overly kind of like exploitive or anything like that. It's you find a lot of that with Twilight Time actually, and it is Strange Invaders. So if you've never seen this movie, it's a different, like almost kind of a kind of a Twilight Zonian type feel to Strange Invaders. Not like with the twist or anything like that, but just it has that kind of like that older school science fiction feel to it. It's got a great cast too. Look, you've got like Michael Lerner, Louise Fletcher here, Wallace Shawn, Fiona Lewis, June Lockhart, of course, from Lost in Space. So definitely really cool to check out. What's really neat about these Twilight Time releases too is they'll always have the isolated score. That's kind of their thing, right? They'll do the isolated score. This one actually has an audio commentary. They're not big on a lot of features. If you got a lot of features on Twilight Time, it's really kind of a special thing. But what they do have is these booklets, and I always love. They're only small, but I love the way their booklets are done, and I love the artwork and stuff within the booklet. So definitely Strange Invaders, a good one to check out if you've never seen it. And there's usually like artwork on the inside. I got an eclectic collection of Twilight Time. So next up is the movie Summer Lovers, and this one means a bit to me, basically because I'm a travel person, and I did have like kind of some summer stuff where I did go off and try to travel as much as possible. Not as much as I'd like to. But this is a great film. Wonderful cast. Peter Gallagher, pre-OC days, and Law & Order SVU, which is in right now, is here with Daryl Hannah, and she's gorgeous. And of course, Valerie Quinson. I hope I got that right. It's a great little film done back in around, I think, 82. I'll cheat and look just to make sure, though. But it's set, beautiful cast, beautiful setting. I think it's in Greece, right? Can't remember, but I think it's in Greece. It's not telling me right here. I got a feeling it's like in Greece, somewhere like that. And it is a kind of just a gorgeously lush film. It's a film that could only be done, I think, back in that day. Be done like the way that and come off the way that it does. Next up is a classic, and I know there's a Scream Factory edition of this one out as well. I just love this cover too. And this one actually has an audio commentary on it, like with a few people, and always they got their isolated score, and that's Bronson in 10 to Midnight. This is my personal favorite Charles Bronson film. I know a lot of people are going to say Death Wish, or I like 10 to Midnight. It's just a really, really great film. See it front in here, and it's got like a great little booklet, which I do adore. One of my favorites. 10 to Midnight, Charles Bronson. Next up is the classic vampire film. They don't do horror anymore in Twilight Time, which is a real shame, because when they represented horror, they represented it pretty well. And this one here is Count Yorga Vampire. So this was kind of the changing of the guard in vampire films. It actually, its success is kind of helped to prompt Hammer Films to go from, for whether this is good or not, to go from like gothic horror to like the 70s inspired horror, like the classic Dracula 8072 and the not so classic Satanic Rites of Dracula. But again, this is a beautiful release. I love the booklet on the inside of this. I just think that is gorgeous. You have the old school poster there, which is really neat. As always, isolated score. But there's a few features on this. We got audio commentaries on here. There's like an interview on here. Fangirl radio tribute to Count Yorga, to Robert Corey. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that this had like I think a pretty decent MGM release back in the day, but nothing definitely compared to what is right there. Being a huge Charles Bronson fan, this was definitely high on my list of like Charles Bronson films that I had to have, and that is The Mechanic with Bronson. It's a great film. It's got probably one of Jan Michael Vincent's best roles, in my opinion. He does a really good job in this. This movie would be remade years later, but it's not the same. This is a classic Bronson film. Kind of had his peak here. Basically, he's this hitman, and he's like he's hard and he's tougher. He's older, and there's this younger, brasher hitman out there. You know the deal. You've probably seen movies like that one or movies like that in the past. Got a bit more here in the horror side, and that next up is one that I do dig a lot, and that is the Believers. This actually is a super cool film, kind of like a cult style one, and it stars Helen Shaver and Martin Sheen. Great booklet here. I was a little bit disappointed that they didn't have any like interior art here, but I'm guessing this is probably one of their older ones. Essentially, like you're seeing these like these blue cases as opposed to the clear cases, which would kind of be their stock and trade. They do the clear cases much in the same, I guess, that other companies like Vinegar Syndrome Pup do their clear cases. This one is long out of print. This was in there, and that is the Blob. I adore this film. This is one of my favorite remakes of all time. Directed by Chuck Russell, who did Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, Dream Warriors, the most commercially successful Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm not sure if it's the most successful financially, but definitely the most commercial film. The Blob's a great remake in the fact that it updates it, but it stays kind of true to the course. And the updates are really, really good. Of course, we get this this cool kind of like artwork. It seems like they have the neat artwork here, and they play around with this kind of like cool artsy style with their with the booklets, and they always put the poster on the other side. I really like that. I like the way that's done. Three more, and these are all clear cases. So John Carpenter's Vampires, fun film. Isolated score. It's a commentary track with John Carpenter. His commentary tracks are usually pretty fun. I gotta say, I haven't listened to this commentary track. The Making of John Carpenter's Vampires, and cool little film. Again, I love the artwork that they put on these booklets. They are amazing. Just incredibly well done. Awesome stuff. Only a couple more to go through here. Next up is Scream and Scream Again, and this one basically has a few of the horror icons in it, some with larger parts than others, but we got like Vincent Price, Peter Cushing is in here, Christopher Lee, just like a ton of like those old school actors, and it's more of like a really maybe a horror / science fiction-y type film. Love the artwork, love the cover, and again. This is probably my least favorite looking cover for like the booklet, because they normally go for more of an artsy type thing, and this one here just it's kind of standard. It's what you would assume if you've ever seen the movie Scream and Scream Again. But I do love the interior like art right there. It's kind of cool, kind of creepy noir-esque looking. Gotta dig that. And last but not least, one of my favorites from them is Fright Night, for real. This is an absolutely fantastic release. Again, the artwork on the inside. I love the artwork here. Look, they kill it with these booklets. Like, people talk about their isolated scores and the fact they do like some really good remasters and stuff like that. Not enough people talk about the artwork on their booklets. They are amazing. Look at this. it truly captures like the feel of the film. And I'm not quite sure who does the artwork on these booklets. Maybe you guys, if you guys know, definitely put it in the comment section down below there. Great amount of special features. This was their 30th anniversary one, and it sold out like really quickly. I think within like half an hour or kind of less than that. It went out really quick anyway. Before they put out one like other version of Fright Night before this, but it was like not, not that well feature-wise and stuff. So they put out, a new edition of it, 30th anniversary edition. Bunch of commentaries, their usual isolated score. There's a reunion panel on here. There's an EPK kit, which I do recommend checking out because I love the song Fright Night by the J. Giles Band. Rest in peace. But it's on here, right? You get to see, I think, at least 1 or 2 versions of the Fright Night video on here as well. So all in all, I got like just 10 Twilight time releases. This is just a shortcut video, which basically is to highlight the Twilight time releases and kind of more than anything else to highlight the fact that Vinnys Video Vault's a really good channel that you should check out. He does a lot of great stuff. Anyway, thank you so much for watching today. I shall be hopefully making another movie club video in the very near future. Please, if you like this shortcut video, give it a like, subscribe if you haven't, share it on Twitter or any other social media that you might want to use, and make sure you check out Vinny, who has a really great channel there. So see you soon.